dogs, huh? Sometimes just gotta get up, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm getting old. Ah, God dang. God dang. Woo! Alright. No, wait, hang on. Number one on that side. Yep. I swear, them easiest things don't ever work for me. The hell's that thing? Don't you want to go home? Get in there, boy. Man, that guy just put a supercharger on that Corvette. Can't even put the damn battery back in it. Can't find the hole. I spit on it, you know what I mean? We have the red cord, not your... I don't think she's going to crank up without tune. All right, guys. So what we got going on? Intake's on. Everything's buttoned up. Waiting on clamps. Let me flip you around here and I'll show you what we got. So the intake manifold is on. Everything's buttoned up. I remade this fuel line. So I got rid of the factory fuel line. Done adapter, -6 adapter to a tight 90, to a close radius 90 to another 90. -6 we feed in here. Waiting on a new tube and a clamp, or a new coupler and a clamp right there. But everything else is on the car. So do have to drill and tap this for our IAT. We got one from Low Dollar Motorsports on the way. Catch can mounted. That gold for motion is sick. God, matches them gold valve covers perfect too. But it's pretty much the setup right here. It's what we're going to have. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to button it up and start checking things off the list that need to be done in order to get this thing to the dyno. So first thing I'm going to do is put this thing up in there. Woo, what dogs, huh? All right. We'll get some caffeine. And then we'll bring this thing up a bit. So we can go there and put the cover back on our pump. Let's bring this thing up. Sometimes just gotta get up, you know what I mean? There she is. Now let's put our cover on our fuel pump. Now we'll get up underneath this thing with our ratchet here. Oh, I'm getting old. Okay. Yeah. There's that. Get the back wheel on. Whoopsie. That's a bit out for now for the dyno. We are going to probably put a taller radial on this wheel. I don't know yet, but we are going to have a drag pack for this car for them street digs and for the track. This will mostly see street action though. So I don't know when we'll run back here, but I'll probably put a semi-sticky tire on this because I still want to do some corners. And then I'll put a drag pack on it when someone wants to hit the streets and maybe we get a grudge race going on. Somebody, we got to see how fast we are, you know. We got a lot of people talk shit around here. We got to shut them up. All right, so the back tire's on. Tank cover's on. Now we're going to go to some accessory stuff. So we're going to throw in a boost gauge. So what we got here is an Autometer Cobalt boost gauge. I like these. I ran these. Fun fact, 20-something years ago, I had a boosted Honda, and I run these Cobalt gauges in it. So this has got nostalgia to me. But I like these Cobalts, and the Phantom Autometer is probably my favorites. But I think these Cobalt gauges are just air correct for this year car for a 2000. Anything late 90s to mid 2000s, this is the go-to gauge. So we're gonna run that gauge, and this is a pillar specific to that car. I think this is also made by Autometer, but this is supposed to be this is a dual gauge pillar. Although I only got one gauge, we'll throw a wideband gauge in it after it comes back from the dyno. So that's our pillar, and it is. I don't know if this goes on top of our existing pillar, so I think it's leather, or if this removes the other one and replaces it. It's a cover, so this goes on top of it. Yeah, so that's from Autometer. So sweet. Let's go inside the car and see how we're going to do this now. Well, actually, let's see what else we got in here. Vacuum line. Gauge. T compression fittings. Stickers, which is a must. We gotta have our stickers. We ain't going fast unless we got those. Grommet for firewall pass through. These are compression fittings for the vacuum hose. All right, we'll get started with her. Yeah, we're gonna figure out where we're gonna run everything. And oh, this comes off. Whether or not you can see what I'm doing, and that just pulls off. I think we could run our boost line down there and through where back in there and through where the hood go, the hood latch, or the hood pull cables go for the hood. As far as this thing, hell, it just goes just like that, huh? Woo! Well, that works. Might have to figure out which hole he wants. It's ain't been the same, man. Hang on. Right, boost gauge up, higher, down, low. That's a not good fitting freaking pillar gauge, I'll be honest with you. Guess we can take that off. That'd be hey, you know. What we got going? What in the world? There we go. Woo, that boys. New toy. Right. So, we'll run it. Which one? Probably run that top one. Run our wideband here and run our boostesses right there. So I'm gonna score that going on out through there. God dang. There we go. So we'll run that in there. Now, run this down. Since we can pull this in and out, we're going to run the boost first, the boosters gauge, and then we'll wire it up. We'll run the boost. We'll run the tubing first, and then we'll wire it up. Sit tight. All right, here's what we got going on. I went to the parts store got some more parts, obviously. But I got what we didn't have. God dang, for this mess. That's what I was afraid of. Now we're going to clean this up, make this look a little bit cleaner. Alright, so Autometer forgot to give us both our brass unions. So we don't have them. But I went and picked some up at the parts store. And I got us one right here. So now we can make this thing. So if you don't know, if you've never done this and you order a gauge from Autometer and they forget to send you these, which seems to be the whole story of this build process, you're going to slide this on first. This is your little nut, your nipple. You got a little brass knurl, just a little bitty piece of brass. Looks like a barrel. We're going to get it on there, maybe. And then you got your compression fitting, and it's a female. So then you come up here and you screw them together. And that knurl, that's your bite onto your vacuum hose. So now, bite down on it too hard. So there we go. So now we can pull on that. It's good and snug. What I also got to clean this up a little bit before we get our vacuum block is just another 1/8 inch MPT barb. That's a good barb right there. Get off there. Alright. Now, that's a lot cleaner right there. Let's move inside the car and wire it up. Alright, now back in here, we're going to find power. Our fuse, inside fuse box is in here. Supposedly, after doing some Googling, there's some, GM has a switched power ground and a constant power force already hidden in here. So we're going to find this together. Let's see what we got. Alright, so I'll tell you what I got. And this is factory GM. So you got, this is tape from the factory just like this, and this is just an open circuit. Black is your ground. Yellow, which we're going to use, is a key on. And then the orange is a constant 12. But we're going to run the key on and probably the ground. There's also an open circuit here as well. We could use a fuse tap, but I don't have one. Right here underneath that 10, you could do a fuse tap and tap into it. But we're going to wire to this. So let me get some more wire and some connectors and be right back. Alright, luckily I was able to find us some yellow wire. We'll go ahead and crimp on our connector here. These are heat shrink connectors. Going eyeball enough to fish through, so we'll crimp that into our yellow and then fish it up over and across to our gauge. Bring you guys in here. So we're tapped in there. I ain't got my torch. We're going to take a grill lighter. And I don't like how it's put some heat tubing over it too. Alright, even though those were heat shrink butt connectors, I got some of the good stuff here. Look at that, still dried up. See, a lot better. Professional. Now we're going to fish it up underneath this carpet. We'll pull that carpet back and fish it over. And we're going to take us a close rod to fish that through there if you ain't got one of these. These work wonders. So now we're just going to take this and straighten this thing out right here. Take the end of our wire, get us some electrical tape and tape that up. Woo! What's going on, guys? So, what we're going to do, go get this thing ready for the dyno. Our hot rod ready for this dyno. We ain't got much left. We're going to button her up. We got last videos. What we do? We got intake manifolds on, fuel systems on, boost gauges in. We just got to torque down this intake manifold. We got to drill the intake tube for our thread-in IAT sensor, put some clamps on it, put the hood back on it, just to give it a good once over and make sure it's ready for a dyno so our tuner don't have a headache with it. We'll fire it up, see if it'll idle. I like to check the belt alignment. If it'll idle, just let the belt make a couple laps, make sure it's going to stay on when it does pulls. And that's pretty much where we're at. So let me give you a walk over, because we had a walk around because we did have issues getting this intake manifold on. I'm sure that video's incomplete, lost all that footage, whatever, my bad. But we'll get y'all taken care of. So let me pull y'all over here and give you a walk around where we're at with it. All right, so here's where we're at with it. Obviously, blower's installed. Last things we done was the catch can setup. Motion Raceworks oil cap to a -10. Built this line. It wouldn't go around the back too tight, so we went around. It goes to a push-in -10 on the other side of the valve cover, which is right here. What we also done was we built this little tight radius 90. So there's a factory -6 to a factory push-in, tight radius 90 to another 90. That feeds up here because of it's so tight back in there, you don't want to feed to the back of the fuel rail, so we teed in here. It looks a lot cleaner. What I don't like is you got multiple failure points. So this tee, there's a bunch of leaks. You have a leak. There's 3 spots for a leak, 4 if you count over there. Then we got even more spots for leaks. So hopefully we've done our homework and none of this stuff leaks when we put fuel pressure on it. We did have to trim back of the wiper cowl to fit this intake manifold, and that's a whole debacle. This intake manifold was a pain in the butt to put on there. They had to drill a hole there and there to reach the bolts to bolt it down, and we still got to torque it down. But making this intake manifold fit, we had to change the valley pan, because the factory valley pan, factory bolts didn't allow the intake manifold to seat. And then we had to go with spent a lot of money on 3 different steam port kits, and none of them fit. So we went with a factory, I think it's like an LS3 steam port kit. So on this steam port kit, it's just a GM factory. I don't have the part number, I done throw it away, but it fits right in there. All of them hit the intake manifold, but this one has plenty of clearance. What we done, this is just a front crossover, and the back is blocked off. So we blocked the back off with the steam port, done a crossover on the front. Blocking the back off ain't going to hurt it. There's 1,000 horsepower LSs all day long with the back of them blocked off, so it'll be fine. So now let's get this pipe off, pop a hole in it for our IAT sensor. And we're going to button all this up and get it ready for dyno, so sit tight. All right, so next up, we're going to torque this intake manifold down, because we've yet to do that. Let me get the pattern here. So it's got to go to 75 inch-pounds in, no wait, that's when you put it together. Hang on. We'll get it done. Hang on here, boys. There. That's what we're looking for. It's not count. Alright. No, wait, hang on. Maybe that was it. Oh, here it is. Tighten up the 10 socket head cap screws using this sequence. Multiple passes, a minimum of 4 recommended. And we got to go to 89 foot-pounds. So 89 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. So we'll do our first one at, let's do 40 inch-pounds. So we'll go 40, Like 40, 55, 65, 89. That's 4 passes right there. Number 1 is this one. Oh, number 1's on that side. Hang on. So this one's number 1. There it went here. Very light feel on your inch pounds. I learned this from working on dirt bikes and race quads. When you're doing inch pounds, they are very, very light. You got to go slow with your wrench, because sometimes you can barely feel them. See if you can watch her here. Right there, torque. I might have to lower this car so I can work around it. I'm gonna lower this car and torque this down. I'll spare y'all the pain of watching. All right. Well, now that's torqued down, we can get that off our list. So, intake, throttle body, steam port, done. AT sensor in the pipe, done. Got to add coolant to it. Put the ducts up underneath the bumper. Put the hood on, we're done. Fire it up, check for leaks. So, I don't know what we're going to do next. Let me think. I guess we're going to get the car up in the air a little bit more, get underneath it, and put the bottom clamps on, put our air ducts back underneath it. Going up! If you ain't got no quick jacks, these right here is a ticket. Unless you got a lift, but coming soon when we build our shop. Sometime this year. Let's put these ducts on. Let me get them. Yep. Alright, so we got these air ducts that go back underneath the front bumper and the hardware right here. So we're going to pop them on. Alright, guys, it's time. I'm going to drop this battery in. I swear, them easiest things don't ever work for me. What the hell's that thing? Let's try this again. Don't you want to go home? Just get your dang home. Get in there, boy. What the heck? What the heck, over? Come on. There we go. Sometimes it's the easy things hurt you the most. I know it's painful to watch, ain't it? Man, that guy just put a supercharger on that Corvette by himself, but he can't even put the damn battery back in it. I know, guys. I know. Try to get this clamp. Can't find the hole. I spit on it, you know what I mean? So, we got our ducts, bumper ducts back in for our brakes. We have the red cord. No, I'm just joking. We got intake manifold torqued down. I phoned a friend. He's gonna come weld a bung in on this for us, so we're gonna have him TIG that in. Probably next day or two. He got a mobile welding rig, so we'll have him come burn a bung in for us. Oh shit! Damn, that scared the crap out of me. Headlights are on. It's cause it's cold outside. Headlights come on. Let me turn them back off. That's kind of scary. Anyway. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to fire this up without that IAT sensor and just see if we can test for fuel leaks. I'd also like to check our belt routing if it'll do anything for us. If it were idle, I don't know. It's going to be rough idle because it's got a 103 throttle body with a different wiring harness. Because LS3 adapter harness for that throttle body. Bigger fuel injectors. No IAT. Different fuel pump. It may idle, it may not. I'd like to at least check for fuel leaks first. And if it won't idle, I'd like to sit here and turn it over. I might pull fuel pump relay, turn it over, and watch the belt spin just to make sure our belt alignment's on point. Then we'll get it to the dyno and they can take care of it from there. First things first, guys. I'm going to key on, listen for the fuel pump, and check for leaks here and where we had our fuel pump connection, which are their factory fuel lines, so we should be good. I hear our fuel pump. I don't see no leaks. We may not have fuel in it though, because we lost a lot of fuel, but I don't see or smell no fuel leaks. That's the first. Let's try again. It may take a couple cycles to pick fuel up also. But I don't see or smell no leaks. That's a first, boys. No fuel leak. That's wild for me. That's a first. Usually when I make fuel lines, I got a leak everywhere. Gotta go chase them down. Well, now let's see if she'll crank up. Hell, worth a shot, ain't it? I don't think she's going to crank up without tune. Well, that's it, guys. She's put together. She ain't going to fire, though. We'll have to get her out here to the dyno and let them figure it out. I could probably have them send me a bass. I could probably have them send me a bass tune. But we'll just push it on the trailer and get it to Hawks and let Tyler take care of it down there. I got to put coolant in it, put the front wheels on it, push it on the trailer, and we're off to the dyno. So we'll see y'all then. Thanks for watching. Dyno News.